Walking down the street late at night has become one of Sakusa's habits. As soon as he leaves high school, the practice with the team ends quite late and Sakusa, not living near the gym, finds himself having to walk for 20 minutes in the dark, especially in winter. And now that's January, the bitter cold of winter has also added to the pitch dark, which forces him to increase the pace towards his home, hoping that no one is following him or hoping not to end up in some miserable alley. This evening, luck doesn't turn to Sakusa's side and he finds himself in one of the dark alleys of Osaka, with his phone in his hands and with the torch on, looking for a way out of that place. He hears footsteps behind him and he turns around, noticing however that there's no one behind him. So Sakusa starts walking again in the direction from which he came, hoping to be able to see the street lamps that illuminate the deserted streets of Osaka. But behind him, Sakusa continues to hear footsteps and, when he turns around for the second time, he doesn't see anyone but hears a noise similar to the flapping of wings and, when Sakusa turns towards the street, in front of him he sees only a boy dressed in black. What is such a cute boy doing alone, in a dark alley, at 11 p.m? His voice is annoying and a sly and mean smile forms on his face, while with his brown eyes, mixed with some shades of red, he squares Sakusa's figure from head to toe. Sakusa decides to ignore him and he starts walking again, but in a split second he bumps into someone and hears that boy giggle. Cute and grumpy, as far as I can see. Leave me alone, I have to go home. But I want to be your friend. The boy crosses his arms over his chest and pouts, pretending to be offended. Sakusa sighs and ignores him for the second time. I don't need friends, especially if they live in the alleys. I don't live in this alley. Don't offend my beautiful home. That boy is still following him and Sakusa hears him laughing behind him, so he lowers his head and continues walking. Shy enough, love, at least tell me your name. My name is Atsumu. I promise I won't do anything to you, baby. I'll be a demon but... Ugh, it's tiring. At those words, Sakusa freezes instantly. A demon? Sakusa is definitely going crazy from training fatigue. Stop with the pet names. I bet you're blushing and smiling under that mask. It's hard not to fall for me, you know. Omi. What did you call me? Moments of embarrassing silence pass, before Atsumu starts laughing louder than before and, luckily for him, there's no one around them, except some drunk man who is sleeping leaning against the walls of the buildings. Your name is Kyumi, isn't it? I can read it from the bag on your shoulder. Fuck, the bag. Call me by my name, then. Okay, Omi-kun. Sakusa turns back to Atsumu and sees him take a step back and the little light coming from the neon signs allows Sakusa to look at him better. Dyed blonde hair, brown eyes tending to red, he is quite tall but shorter than Sakusa and has a body that. Sakusa immediately stops his thoughts, shaking his head. You were thinking lustfully looking at me, weren't you? Atsumu sighs smiling, making his big black and red wings move, which Sakusa can see in shape. Sakusa stands staring at those wings, trying to control his urge to touch them. Atsumu notices that detail in Sakusa's eyes and approaches the boy, whispering in his ear from behind. I know you want to touch them, but first you have to do something for me. Forget it, Atsumu. I don't do any favors to demons. Atsumu pouts, pulling away from Sakusa. As you like, Kyumi, then good luck getting home. Sakusa hears a constant flapping of wings from afar and other people laughing, but they weren't Atsumu. Anxiety begins to make its way into Sakusa's body who, frightened, turns to Atsumu who is leaning against a wall, with his arms folded, staring at Sakusa in turn. Okay, what should I do? A big smile appears on Atsumu's face and he holds out his hand to Sakusa, who, hesitantly, grabs it, then feeling Atsumu's pointed nails tracing small circles on the back of his hand. Come with me. Sakusa raises an eyebrow and releases Atsumu's hand, adjusting the bag over his shoulder. Take me home rather. Then we will do it at your house. Do what? I don't let anyone touch me, not even you. Nobody said we'll do anything dirty, Omi. Even if my nature requires it. Sakusa grabs Atsumu's hand again, squeezing it as soon as he feels the laughter he had heard before approaching. Don't be afraid, they won't get close to you. In fact, I won't let them get close to you. You're only mine. Those words, although comforting, don't at all calm Sakusa's anxiety, which only increases. When Sakusa turns to Atsumu, he no longer sees the demon he saw before, but he sees a boy identical to Atsumu but with totally brown eyes and the same suit that Sakusa wears. I can't be seen with wings, Omi. Stop calling me that. Atsumu chuckles, putting his hand in front of his mouth and blushing lightly. The two boys, after a while, start walking out of the alley, while still holding hands, heading towards Sakusa's distant house. Sakusa, on prolonged contact with Atsumu's cold hand, blushes violently, thanking the white mask that covers his cheeks and that allows him to show nothing to Atsumu who, on the contrary, seems to feel all those conflicting emotions in Sakusa. You look really cute with flushed cheeks, Omi. Sakusa widens his eyes, swallowing loudly, noticing Atsumu's hot gaze on him. How did he see that he is blushing? But, above all, why is he blushing? Will you stop? Sakusa hears Atsumu laughing again as the demon squeezes the fingers of Sakusa's hand. The journey is rather silent. From time to time, Sakusa glances at the demon next to him, trying to observe every little detail, while Atsumu is waiting for nothing but to arrive at Sakusa's house, to eat the human. And Sakusa is sensing that, in this whole situation, something is wrong. You should be more relaxed, Omi. Relaxed? I'm walking down the street, at night, with a demon. Tell me, how can I be relaxed? At that last sentence, Sakusa feels Atsumu's hand leave his hand and climb up his back until the demon's arm surrounds his shoulders. I already told you I'm not doing anything bad to you, so don't worry. Sakusa looks at Atsumu for the last time, before taking the house keys and letting the demon in first, and then closing the door behind him. A beam of darkness hits his apartment and Atsumu reveals himself in his demonic form, while Sakusa takes a step back, finding himself with his back against the front door. Sakusa must admit that, in his true form, Atsumu is magnificent, with curved black horns and black and red wings that start from his back, just below the neck. The thing that scares Sakusa is the petty smile that occupies Atsumu's face, while the demon walks towards him. If you weren't so cute, I would have spared you. Atsumu's tongue runs over his fangs slightly longer and sharper than a human's and Sakusa instinctively closes his eyes, swallowing. Only the sound of the doorbell saves Sakusa from his terrible fate and Atsumu growls, grabbing Sakusa by the collar of his sweatshirt and lifting him with ease, approaching his ear and whispering, "I'll be back, and I won't spare you." And after those words, Atsumu vanishes in a cloud of black smoke and Sakusa sits on the ground, sliding against the door, with red cheeks and shortness of breath, while the doorbell rings non-stop. Sakusa rests his now cold hands on his cheeks, trying to realize everything that just happened, noticing only after his heart started beating too hard when Atsumu got close to him. What did he expect? Did he expect the demon to kiss him?